What is up, everybody? It's Lennon, and today is another tarot outside of the box video, okay? Y'all know I like to look at the tarot way out of the box sometimes. Today is all about the question. I know what you're thinking, okay? Ooh, is this going to be about asking the tarot a question? Or what is the proper question? No, stop, okay? We're not asking the tarot a darn thing, okay? We're going to do something different. I want to leave a link for you to go watch. This was part of like a 24-hour tarot live that had gone around in our community, and Kelly over at the Truth and Story actually did a video about this. She went through every major arcana card and said, okay, well, if the cards could ask us a question, what would it be? I was hooked. I was like, wow. Because I think of tarot as a way to introspect, right? And to go within and to find stuff out about myself and to get archetypal images and stuff like that, right? I love to do that with the tarot. So I thought, well, we're not really communicating if I'm not listening. But there's some resistance there, right? Bound to be. When we ask the tarot a question, okay? Think of it as your friend. If you were to just constantly go to your friend and say, well, what about this? Well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And then you're never allowing them to ask you something. It's like, that friend's going to be like, she is really stuck up. Her own self. Like, I do consider the tarot my friend. And I consider it, like, I really do want to listen to it when it's trying to tell me some messages. But when we read tarot for ourselves, it's very hard to be objective. And I was so fascinated by Kelly's video that I thought, okay, this could be a way to dive into the self if instead of just saying, well, what do you have to tell me? Pull 3 cards, you know? Let's change it up. What we're going to do today is, I hope it's going to be fun. We're going to give readings, okay? Now, I'm going to shuffle the deck. I'm going to turn the camera around. We're going to shuffle the deck. I'm going to pull a couple of cards here, 3 cards there, maybe a spread there, you know, here or there. And we're going to see if in a spread, if we can come up with one or a couple of questions that the spread is trying to ask us. Okay. So, like I said, we were going to shuffle the deck, and we're going to try to get the tarot to ask us some questions. And I always tend to say this, but we'll see where it goes. Anyway, now, this is going to be kind of a 2-parter, okay? What I want to do is I want to pull some cards, like, in the first part, let's pull some cards, and they'll be, like, situations, right? So, like, typically, you go to the tarot, right, and there's, like, a situation or a particular kind of a question genre that you want to ask it, right? So, love, work, right, whatever, on down the line, it's just endless. And we'll do a couple of spreads on that count, but then let's just, like, the second part, let's do like a self, let's do like a tarot for the self kind of spreads, like, just like, what does the universe want me to know, you know, stuff like that. Actually, that's a question, so we're leaving our questions out of it. Okay. We want these cards to start asking us, right? We're wanting the tarot to ask us the questions. We're wanting it to, I don't know, be our friend, right? And in order for it to be our friend and be considerate, we gotta listen to it talk too. We've gotta listen to it instead of just us going to it and asking it questions. I think I've shuffled this damn deck enough. Okay. Alright, now like I said, let's do this 2-parter. So the first part, let's just do some situations, but we're not going to go into anything specifically. We're just going to pull some cards, say we pull a couple of cards, and we're just going to put the intention that this question, these couple of questions for this reading or whatever, is going to be about a specific genre. That's all we're going to give the cards to go on. So let's think about what the first category should be. Now, love and / relationships is always it's very popular with the tarot. So I don't know why I'm still shuffling this. I said I was done. Okay. So let's do love and relationships, right? And let's do a 3-card spread, because that seems to be very popular, because that can be well-rounded. Mind, body, spirit, past, present, future, whatever. Ooh. Okay. Look at this. Get this world card. I love it. That we get a major arcana card. That's pretty cool. Okay. Now we can ask, or we can see what the question would be individually. Say for this, what's keeping you up at night? That's exactly what the question that this card asked me. And like if I just pulled that and it was trying to ask me a question, that would be the question. What's keeping you up at night? So that's just an example. But if we looked at this in a spread and how we're just saying this is about love and relationships, right? What question would this be asking me in terms of a love / relationship? Well, immediately I get, are you putting too much of yourself into the relationship that it's turning into problems and you cannot see where to go from here? And it'll be different for everyone who reads it. Okay, so immediately I get one question that could be a love / relationship question. Are the problems in your relationship that seems to be consuming you, do you see a future with it? And I kind of worked backwards. Do you see a future in this all-encompassing relationship and the problems there within that seem to be keeping you up at night and giving you anxious thoughts, right? Pulling a spread and then having it ask you a question. Like I said, you could go card by card and have it ask you 3 questions, or you could just go and try to map out the reading and then just pop out one question, one large question. Okay, now let's do another love reading, but let's do a 2-card spread and just see where it goes. Ooh, I love the Knight of Wands. We've got 2 wands here. Okay, let's not keep this by the fire. Lovely people over here. Okay, now this is still love in the relationship genre. Okay, we get some wands here, which is all about passion and drive, right? It's just about, that the ability to do all that. And for me, the Knight of Wands is a very go, 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 let's just seek some shit. And he, she, whoever, they, in the 6 of Wands right here, that's a very victorious pose, right? Real Lady Godiva, okay? And so the question that would come out for this, if it's in a love / relationship reading, is, can I still, while putting in all this effort, will that continue to make me feel victorious in the relationship? Or am I doing too much of the work in the relationship? And it does make me feel good, right? Well, we're going into a reading now, people. I don't want to do that. It could be too much, right? It could be too much. You're putting too much effort in. But with this victory card, they seem to be going in opposite directions, which doesn't actually look good in a reading to me. But because he seems to be going this way towards something over here, and he seems to be getting victorious over here. Is my effort warranted? I need to really soul search and venture and see if the effort I'm putting into this relationship is going to actually benefit me. It's a hard question to ask. Well, it's a hard question for the tarot to ask you. Sometimes it's really hard to be objective because we don't always get the answers we want. And in this case, we don't always get the questions we want either. It's the same kind of concept as pulling cards for a reading, right? Now let's see if we can pull some cards for another category, genre in the tarot. Okay, what are some other categories and that people come to the tarot to talk about? Okay. Let's do work, right? We're not asking this anything. We're not talking anything. We're just going to put a category on this and see where it goes. What questions the tarot may ask us, right? That's the whole point of this. And it's actually pretty hard for me to not put a question down and be like, you know, is such and such working for me? No, we got to stop. I've got to stop forcing my brain. I got to force my brain to stop asking the tarot a question, because that's not the point of this. And, you know, like I said, we'll see where this goes. We don't know. Maybe this isn't going to work. You know, I'm trying to go quick with this. Okay. I'm not trying to spend a whole lot of time on this, because these are just readings to figure out if this is even something that works, right? Like I said, please go watch Kelly over at the Truth and Stories video, because it was so good. Now, she only went through the majors, which was great. But I wanted to know, I wanted to dive and see if this was something we could do with the whole deck, right? So, now I did say this is going to be a two-parter. Okay? Now, the second part was about self. So, this is just a genre of you. This is you pulling cards for you, and maybe these are questions that you'll plug into a journal somewhere, right? I love to do stuff like that. Find little posts that have questions I can ask myself. Really deep dive questions. I like to pull cards for me at night. Not necessarily from tarot, but from oracles as like dream initiation. But if I do pull tarot, then I try to, and I'm not using my oracle as dream initiation, then I do like to take a tarot card and kind of think on what the card's trying to tell me, not necessarily ask me. And then that can be dream initiation as well. So let's pull a couple of one cards and see what question the one cards can do, because there's no guarantee that it's going to be a major arcana card. So this could still be pretty tough, right? If something random pops out and you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is this trying to say? Let's cut the deck a few times, because I'm just feeling drawn. Oh, look, that one popped out. Knight of Pentacles. Ooh, he's so pretty, isn't he? Are you being, or am I, okay, because this is about self, am I being mindful about my money? And about all that encompasses. My finances, my way of life. Am I being mindful of that? He's being mindful. He's minding hard. So, see how that worked out? And I don't know why, but I think the questions and the anticipation of the tarot asking me the questions, it's gotten me shuffling this deck like way more than I normally would. Normally I would just overhand shuffle, you know, as I'm giving myself a couple of readings, but okay. Like I said, this is for self, part 2, right? So, 1 cards. We keep getting all these courts, people. I'm going to still shuffle this while I talk about the Queen of Wands here. She's beautiful too. The sunflower is like one of my favorite flowers ever. And we've gotten a lot of wands today. I wonder what that says about me today. Or if that says something about one of you. Now, what would she ask me? Right? She's lived her passions. She's got great willpower, right? Sitting there. Oh. I would say that the question she's asking me is, do you need to look more? Do you need to look into your work ethic? Your passions, your drive? Do I need to look deeper into that? See what I can change. See what I can... If there are things that I need to neglect or if there are things that I need to add into what I'm striving for. That was just one card. So let's just see if we can pull 2 cards. And then we'll kind of subconsciously, consciously, whatever, know that one card is going to be like a question that we need to ask ourselves, and it'll be in a negative connotation and then a positive connotation. So that'll be the genre, but the genre, that'll be the subgenre, but the main genre will still be about self. But I think that that'll help put a subgenre on this. Maybe. I think I'm trying to force this too much, so that's probably why that Queen of Wands came up. Okay. Remember, we're going to do a negative and a positive connotation, and that way the questions will make more sense, okay? Ooh, look at that. And we could read this separately or together. The Ace of Wands in a negative connotation is, am I not living up to my potential? Am I not living up to my potential? This, in a positive way, am I able to ask for help when needed? When I need it, do I have the backbone to ask for help? Now, it sounds negative, but it's not. It's really trying to get you to deep dive with that one question. When you really need help, are you able to ask for it? And that's actually a good thing to ask yourself and to consider. Is that when you're working together, the work seems less. It's just the way of it, right? All right. Now, I'm not going to take too much time on this because I just wanted to come on here and see if in a spread formation, we could get the tarot to ask us a question. Now, like I've said numerous times before, I only read tarot for myself. I rarely read it for other people. And so I'm not really versed with that. I don't know if this is something that you could do. Like if you were to present a spread to your client and just be like, you know what? If you don't really have a specific question, you just want to know what the universe is trying to tell you, but you kind of have, like I said, a genre that you say that you're kind of wanting to know about, say work, career, personal life, right? Relationships in general. Just be like, okay, well, let's pull a couple of cards and see and give you one or a couple of questions for you to reflect on in the next coming undisclosed amount of time, right? That's how I would present this if this was a thing. This is still self. We're going to do one more, okay? And I'm going to do, now for self, I like to do 3-card readings. 3 cards are just very versatile to me. They just mean so much, past, present, future. Like I already said all that. And when I think about the tarot, and when I'm only pulling 1 card, it is, for me, that does tend to be the time where I want clarifier after clarifier after clarifier. If I just pull 3, that's locking it down. That's locking the reading down, and I'm like, okay, I don't need it anymore. So I like to get to a place with tarot that I can be, that there's a good stopping point, that I'm not constantly wanting more information, because then that's not being objective. We're going way off that. Let's pull. We are having so many wands today. I think subconsciously my brain's doing this. So, okay. The wheel in the sky keeps on turning. Okay. Now, a question immediately came up. Remember I said I love 3-card spreads because I can just tend to pop those out and there's a stopping point there. Am I too set in my ways that is causing conflicts in my life to where I'm not going with the flow the way I need to? Boom. See how I did that? Because he seems so severe, right? His facial expression. And this is a very much, let's just go with the flow, people, you know? Let's do this. This is a very much, this could be anything, but of course it just looks like a conflict card. 5s are conflicts, right? Something that you're battling. This could be an internal battle. So am I too set in my ways that is causing problems for me in my day-to-day life, and I need to go with the flow, right? Again, I've turned this into a reading. It's really hard not to. I hope that this was informative, and I hope that it was fun. I love to do stuff like this. Let me know in the comments that if you do this with the tarot, if you pull a couple of cards and think, oh, let's get this to ask me some questions, you know, and do you deep dive like this? Do you want to, even? Come back in a couple of weeks with some more tarot outside the box. All right? Much love.